evening, everybody. It is Monday, August 17th, 2026. It is 6:02 p.m. This is the Rutland Select Board meeting in the Rutland Free Public Library in the lower level. This meeting is called to order, and we have another commission here.
Historical Commission. I'm Peter Pacerb, I'm the chair. Michelle Van Riet, vice chair, and Lindsay Moss, clerk.
And they were previously called to order, and their meeting is continuing with us. So welcome everyone, and if we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We're gonna jump right in. We have number 3. Could we get a motion to sign Treasury Warrant 27-4 and 27 payroll 4? So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
That's an aye.
Second aye.
And Dib, aye. Thank you very much. And could I get a motion to review and approve August 3rd regular session meeting minutes as presented? So moved.
Second.
And any discussion or changes on those? All in favor?
That's an aye.
Wait a minute.
Second aye.
And Dib, aye. Thank you. Alex is not with us tonight, although we will, I think he sent something in for us for later. We are moving on straight to number 4, public comment. Is there anyone here for public comment? Seeing none. I do want to make one statement, and it's actually an apology on behalf of the board. We missed the lowering of a flag on Friday. It was actually for a fallen service person from Taunton who had been MIA for a very long time, and his remains were interred on Friday, and it was a gubernatorial request to lower the flags. So Heather and I have talked about it. We're going to take a better look at our administrative processes, and just for people's knowledge, if anyone wants notification of when the flag status is for our state, you can find that on mass.gov. You don't need to sign up, but there is an option for signing up and getting that information in your email as well. Thank you for that. And we apologize, and we'll try to do better in the future. We're moving on to number 5. Is there anybody else for public comment? I apologize. No, okay. Moving on to number 5, our board and committee appointments. We had an application for our ADA commission, which does still have spaces. As we know, that maximum is 15. And that was from Mary Clark. You've got the volunteer document in your packet. Would anybody like to discuss, make a motion? Is Mary here with us tonight? No. And not online, okay.
Has Mary served on committees before? Do we know if she served on any committee?
I don't believe that she has, it wasn't indicated on her form.
So she is the longtime dog officer's wife.
Yeah.
Dog officer's
Wife.
Oh,
Yes.
okay,
So she's put her time in.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I've had a lot of late night phone calls.
okay.
And he always boarded the dogs at his house. She did plenty.
So there is some history there of how the town works.
yes.
And this is for the ADA commission, which there's specific requirements, and she has a lot of experience from a generational perspective as well. So I think it's amazing that she's willing to get involved in this aspect of town, and really appreciate her. So
Yeah, I think she's waited a long time for something that she could do in town that was a fit for her, and
Yeah.
it's so I think this appears to have been it.
Great.
then I would, if there's no other conversation, I would make a motion to appoint Mary Clark to the ADA commission as presented.
Second,
And any more discussion? All in favor?
That's an aye.
And then
second aye.
And Dib, aye, thank you. For 5.2, we have the town clerk search committee. We've had a total of 3 applications come in. The third is not listed on our agenda. It came in late, but we know that person well because it is our existing town clerk, Anita, and so she is actually here with us tonight. Scott Davis is here with us tonight. Tammy Knight is not. We do have all of the volunteer form documents. As of last meeting, we had indicated we were looking for 3 at-large residents for this committee, as well as a select board member and Heather. which would make up 5. And at the board's pleasure, we could take one at a time. You could ask questions of the people that are here, or you could make a motion for the at-large as a group. It's entirely your call.
What do you think, Leah? I'd go for all of them. For the search committee?
Yeah, I think we just received, I was just getting caught up on the email that we received earlier this afternoon about the current clerk's request, so you guys talk for a couple seconds and let me, sorry.
Mattson, aye.
Well, there's no motion yet, but we could do whichever.
I mean, if you guys make a
Paul,
motion.
Yeah,
and,
we
like,
could do one at a time. We could talk to the people that are here in the room first, or we could make a
I
motion
thought
for,
you were doing one at a time, sorry.
it's really
Okay.
whatever. I will say proactively, I think all 3, should they be selected, should probably file a statement with ethics. Because I think all 3 have various relationships with what is likely to be one of our internal candidates. And you know what, these things happen in a small town, right? We've got people who live here and work here and have deep roots. And so I think just advance notice, that's something that all of you should do as members of the search committee, should you be seated.
Well, I guess if we're gonna take them one at a time, maybe we should.
No,
Make
it
them
doesn't
one at a
matter.
time?
No, you can make a motion for all 3 if you want.
Yeah. I mean, I know, I feel confident personally, being in the town for so long, knowing the positions they've held and what they've done in the past and their reputation, that I personally think they would be good for the search committee, okay, for that.
Agreed.
So then I will make a motion to appoint all 3 as a slate for the, that is Scott Davis, Tammy Knight, and Anita Carlson to the town administrator, or town clerk search committee.
Don't get rid of me yet.
I would never want that,
Great,
Heather.
thank you. And do I have a second?
Second motion.
Thank you. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Mattson, aye.
Second, aye.
And Dib, aye. And then we need to also seat a member of the board. Heather, you said you got an email, right? So Alex has expressed interest in being the board member. He's of course not here to speak for himself tonight, but here we are. I will say, and I don't know Alex very well, but he, I think, is probably the person closest right now to doing actual hiring himself. So in terms of best practices, he seems like a good choice.
Yeah.
Probably has the freshest eyes as well among all of us.
And I think as a board member, this is a great opportunity for him to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Great.
So I would make a motion to appoint Alex as the select board representative to the town clerk search committee.
Second,
Great, any more discussion? And all in favor?
Mattson, aye.
Second, aye.
Dib, aye. Thank you very much. Alex, wherever you are this evening, hopefully not watching, I think he had some personal commitments to take care of tonight. 5.3, we have our new communications committee. This was the person who had responded and had some very strong thoughts about one of the surveys that we're gonna be sending out in the next few weeks. That is our first applicant to the communications committee. They will obviously not be able to meet until they have a quorum, so this will be our first seating, should we take it. And the volunteer form as presented is in your packet.
I think it's great. I really appreciated the original feedback and commentary from the survey conversation, and so I was psyched to see an application in and some enthusiasm to try to help us
Absolutely.
keep in touch with the town as a whole.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great start.
I would,
Is
sorry.
Kristen here tonight? Is she here?
I think it's a gentleman,
Sure.
Is it,
not here,
no,
He's not here?
not
no, not.
so we could hold it. We obviously only have the one, so seating him tonight won't necessarily allow him to do much.
He has also worked, I believe, on the cable advisory committee.
Oh.
Paul,
Mhm.
is that correct?
he was a member of the cable committee for some time, and we did quite a bit of work getting to where we are today. And he was there to help. And as a matter of fact, both he and his wife are active in the town here.
Okay.
If the board's comfortable, I would be comfortable appointing him. So Harry, did you have any questions or
No, I'm just looking at his resume here.
then I would make a motion to appoint Christian Santillo to our communication advisory committee.
Second,
Thank you. And just, I think for the record, it's Cantillo, or is it Santillo? Okay,
I haven't
Chris,
had,
if you're watching, please correct us.
I think it's
Santillo.
Santillo,
Yeah.
C-A-N, okay.
S-A-N.
Oh, it's spelled
No,
incorrectly?
It's S, on our sheet, it's S-A-N-T-I-L-L-O.
But his document is S, yeah, okay, Santillo, thank you. All right, all in favor?
Matt's and I.
second I.
And I, thank you. Moving on, 5.4, yes.
Sorry, I have a, maybe, yeah, sorry, just for these, obviously everybody needs to get sworn in at the clerk's office, but also, because for the newly formed committees, the town clerk is obviously a kind of defined for a set term, but the other ones I assume we will fill in based on where they are randomly, is that, for their,
we'll stagger.
yes. Okay, that, cause we didn't have explicit term end dates.
Yeah, I should have added that so that it was
No.
clear, but let's, for the I think for the ADA, we did stagger them in the original motion.
Yeah.
So I'll look to see, are you comfortable with me making that assignment, or do you want me to bring it back?
For me personally, I think for the newly formed committees, they're random assignments and Sheila is chair, I don't know what you prefer, but I think that we usually had just done them as random assignments versus somebody applying for a certain one. But I don't know as far as
I think
terms.
just for the minutes, as time passes and people come and go,
Yes,
even if it's just in our minutes, not that we necessarily have to vote it in, but that you notifying us that this person, has been sworn in and seated in the 1-year seat or the 2-year seat or
so
whatever.
let's give Mary a 2-year seat
Okay.
for the ADA. And we will give Chris a 3-year seat for communications as a reward for being the first person to sign up.
Yay, Chris.
We'll get him for
Alright.
3 years.
So,
Make him chair too.
And I think we'll also make him chair.
alright,
Exactly.
so let's, to Leah's point, I will take that as a motion. Let's add those in
Yeah,
and
thank
vote
you.
that, yep.
So I would move that Mary is filling a 2-year seat for the ADA commission and Chris is filling a 3-year seat for the communications committee.
May I have a second?
Yeah, second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Matt's and I.
Wait a minute,
Second I.
And aye. So for CMRPC, we've now talked about this a couple of times, and we were contacted one more time. They want to make sure we have our alternate in place as some of their fall events start coming up. As you know, we've got Jean in the main seat, and she was happy to continue. We initially thought we could have Heather go, but it does need to be a resident of the community and not one of the professional staff. So it is typically a select board member in one of these seats, whether it's the alternate or the main, and so here we are. Is anyone dying to do it?
I often attend, but I'm not dying to do it, you know what I mean? I often attend, I'm on the CMMPO,
Okay,
and so I'm often try to attend and keep a pulse, but if anybody else wants to be the official alternate, by all means, I'm not.
I think that's great, Leah.
well, I was gonna say, I enjoy it and I have the time to do the daytime things right now, but I'm not gonna stand in the way if somebody else wants it either. Head shake, Paul,
Mm-hmm.
What?
I'm all set.
you're all set, you don't wanna do it.
You can be the official, like I said, I usually try to go and keep a pulse on stuff,
Okay,
but I
and
can't,
here's the MMPO, so then we
Yeah.
cover both,
yeah.
alright.
So I
Take a
would
motion.
move to name Sheila as the select board alternate to CMRPC. for this, the rest of this fiscal year, sorry.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Matt's and I.
And then-
Second, aye.
And I will abstain. All right, thank you for staying with us. I know you guys are in session right now. We're moving on to number 6, our board and committee communication item. And we have with us tonight the Historical Commission, who gave us an amazing recap document that we all have in our packet, and it is available to the public to read as part of that packet. I know you also have something time sensitive for us tonight, so please, the floor is yours.
Okay, so I literally just received this email at 12 o'clock this afternoon or thereabouts. We have a response regarding the Rutland prison camps from Dan Clark at DCR. I don't know if you folks got the letter. Do you want me to read it?
I don't think you need to read it word for word, but it
Okay.
would be definitely very helpful to to summarize it for us.
Okay, basically the proposal on the table is this. Prison cells. DCR will remove the upper portion of the walls of the structure down to a height of 3 to 4 feet. Footprint of the structure will remain, public will be able to walk through. And as they put it, the unsafe top portions of the wall will be removed. Root cellar,
The interior gutted.
Sorry?
The interior is gonna be gutted.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so
So all that remains is the perimeter wall.
correct. All that remains is the outline of the cells, up to about 3 to 4 feet. Root cellar, the proposal is to seal off the entrance, fill the structure with sand, rocks, and gravel. They claim that the roof is unsafe, which I don't recall hearing about that back in April. And educational signs, DCR will explore the possibility of installing new educational signs at the site, but options may be limited given the history of damage to signage. We still have 2 signs up there.
I think it's important to note the verbiage isn't proposal, the verbiage is we will be.
Yes, it has altered its plan for the site and instead will be taking the following modifications. I did misspeak, thank you,
Yeah,
Lindsay.
because I think that's important note, they're not
Yes.
asking for
They're not asking, they're telling.
telling.
And they've, Senator Durant and Representative Ferguson have been CC'd on this so far. The commission, now you're all informed. I'm just trying to get this out as I can. What can we do? We were just discussing this before the meeting, at our pre-regular meeting. The best we could come up with was to see if maybe the board would be willing to send a letter of, to the governor in support of the prison camps and in support of saving them. I'm aware that there was an article from her recently about DCR and similar things that have been going on throughout the watershed and other similar issues that have been taking place, and basically this is just another example of it. So this is a lot bigger than the Historical Commission. Frankly, I think it's a lot bigger than the town of Rutland. This is just one little cog in the wheel. And there is no mention from DCR about a time frame. So theoretically, this could happen anytime at all. We don't know.
And in the past, Dan Clark has told us that he could do it tomorrow if he wanted to. So we are concerned that he might just go ahead and do it.
So I think we're recommending not just a letter go to Governor Healy in support of the prison camp, but requesting urgent action from the state to save this property
Yes.
immediately.
Yes.
So, just to be clear, this letter was received by the Historical Commission today, it's dated today. You have shared it with us. It is being discussed tonight and it was brought to this meeting. It is now public record. We're gonna put it up on our website. Let's try to make sure that it gets put up on your pages as you are able. Just to be clear, in November 2025, DCR proposed demolition, so last fall. They asked the Historical Commission to submit an alternative, which they did. They reviewed it and they have declined it. And one of the reasons that they are giving, actually I'll give the list, is public safety, hate speech, and ongoing illicit and illegal activities. And I have brought this up before. This property is on Atlas Obscura as one of Rutland's features that people visit. We know that graffiti artists show up there. We know that we have probably one person who every once in a while paints a hate symbol. The idea that Rutland's only recourse to one person is to tear this property down is just, it's anathema. This would not be happening in Lexington, in Concord, in Sudbury. Those communities would have the political power, maybe the deep pockets to protect what they know to be a historic site inherent to the town's history. I'm disgusted, and I actually agree with Peter. I don't think we have the time, because one thing I noticed on this letter, there's no date here. They didn't say we'll be tearing it down at the end of the month, we'll be tearing it down, and there's literally nothing. It could truly be tomorrow morning.
If they, through the chair, if they demolish the walls of the building
Yes.
down to 3 feet,
Mhm.
you still have presence of the prison camp cells there. So help me understand what removing those, because I've been to Gettysburg and all those other places, and some places you don't see the full walls there, okay? So I'm wondering, when I say walls, it's like stone walls.
Right.
They built. So what, in your opinion, in the committee's opinion, what would that look like from a historical perspective for the town?
You mean the current plan?
Yes.
Well, you'd lose all of the architecture that was done almost 100 years ago and is still, for what's left of it, is still standing. You would totally lose that down to 3 to 4 feet. So you've got that for one. As we've said many times, when you lose it, it's gone forever. We can't get back.
Right.
anybody else wanna
Right now,
speak to that?
while the structure might not be in perfect standing compared to what it was almost 100 years ago, there's still enough of the structure that you can see it. You bring that down all the way, you're having to use your imagination to see what it looks like. I bring my kids there. My kids are fascinated when they walk around and see history live in front of them. And to take that away, citing safety, when there is no documented concern of safety, not a single resident has complained about it. Our chief of police says he has zero safety concerns. So they're citing that safety is a problem when nobody in this town is saying that safety is a problem. So you're taking away 100 years of history for a very weak reason.
I just want to note, the work that got done the first time that they sort of agreed to was, it was an embarrassment. It was cheap construction. It was fencing that you would put up around somebody's yard for their neighbors. The signage was held on by normal screws, right? You know, again, I bring up Sudbury and Lexington. In those communities, you would have had concrete blocks or granite that was carved, but they gave us the cheapest options, and now they're saying that this is actually one of the things. Educational signs. DCR will explore the possibility of installing new educational signs at the site, but options may be limited given the history of damage to signage.
And we still have signs to replace them because we bought 2 sets of signs.
Yes, and the original signs weren't damaged. In fact, they were taken because how they
Yes.
were installed, it was so easy to remove them.
Right.
And those screws, the way that they were installed, that should, from my understanding, that should not have happened. We took that into account.
I mean,
And
Because the RFP stated like tamper-proof bolts.
Yes.
But they
They
weren't tamper-proof.
but they weren't.
No.
And the gates, same deal. The gates came down, I was actually in communication with Austin back before he left, asking him, is there some way that we can go back to the vendor and have them correct this? with the gates, because they came down. I don't think I had ever seen all 6 gates up on that on that cell block. It went that fast.
I really struggle also with the safety piece. It's public land, it's a
Yes.
state park. There needs to be some level of personal accountability, and I actually asked DCR, so what are we gonna do, shut down Wachusett now?
Right.
Because that's dangerous? Are we going to shut down all the other state parks? Are we gonna take swimming away? There needs to be some level of personal responsibility, and it's not to the commission, Lindsay, to your point, to the commission's point, there's not a historical documented safety concerns in there.
And- Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So to your point, with it being public land, per the recreational use statute, MGL, chapter 21, section 17C, liability is limited when land is open to the public for recreational use without a fee. A landowner, DCR in this case, is not liable unless conduct is willful, wanton, or reckless. So if DCR was to post a sign saying, "Do not climb," their liability is gone.
That was
It's
our
as
proposal.
simple as posting a "do not climb" sign.
And just so we could have this on the record, Peter, please confirm this. The property is currently in process and being reviewed to be named a state historic site.
Yes.
And what we heard from DCR was that even if it were, it still might not prevent them from tearing these structures down.
Correct.
That's correct. That was from Mass Historical, correct?
And I
Mass
think
Historical
and I believe DCR mentioned that also at the meeting in the spring also, that it doesn't matter, they would still tear it down if that was what they deemed their option to be, regardless of any historical designation.
Correct.
And when we mention this being part of a bigger thing, like whether it's DCR or the MWRA, whichever hand is moving things at the moment, a lot of things that people are asking for are just being denied for either very lame reasons or no reason at all. So for an example, recently at the Ware River Watershed Advisory Committee, they asked for, I think it was 1 or 2 more weeks open during bear season, for the roads to be open during bear hunting season so that they could go in, because you can't really drag a bear out of the prison camps. And he denied the request. They just said, no, we're not gonna do that. And when the person asked why, he said, I don't see any reason why it needs to be open for that extra amount of time. And the person said, did you actually ask? Because the bear population is moving east, and we've had much more bear activity this way, and we need to have the herd culled a little bit more. No consideration for that, just no, we're not gonna do it. And there's been a lot of that, and it's not just here, it's been in Western Mass. I think Joe Comerford brought it up recently at the Belchertown meetings, and
All right, I do believe, I agree with them, this is very time sensitive. What would the board,
I would be comfortable with the chair and drafting a letter of urgency and support and requesting support. I would also include Ann Goby, the Rural Affairs. And I would put both the governor and lieutenant governor on, to be honest, because they kind of work in parallel at different aspects, so to keep it on both their radars. But for an urgent action and request, Sheila, to your point, like, it's one of the things that brings people to the community. If we wanted to look at economic development and try to capitalize, whether it's with restaurants or vending or support agencies or something, that could be a way, that population is a way that draws people to our community. And we could, again, that economic development piece is being taken from us.
Yes.
So
okay, thank you. So I mean, obviously a letter, great.
but I don't know what else, I mean,
So
Quick
I'm-
question,
yeah,
Chair, quick
yeah.
question.
Yes.
Do we know if any individuals from Rutland who served at the prison camp are buried here?
I can add to that.
Yeah.
My mom and my uncle grew up in that area, okay? My mom explained to me the entire system over there, the entire situation. And now I can point out all of these things that were pointed out to me because there are foundations there and whatnot. And the building that they're talking about was known as solitary confinement. Okay, so when the prisoner really misbehaved, they went into solitary confinement, all right? But there are other areas in there where there was a lockup as well, and then there was the administrator's house, there was the hospital, and there was the general service building. So, you know, I know where all of these foundations are. I've been there, and I can remember my mother's words explaining all of this to me. So, you know, when it comes to wanting to tear it down, there's kind of an emotional attachment there for me. And so, you know, I would be with the board and making a decision to file with Ann Goby or representatives or senators to get into something.
Paul, do you know of anybody that served at the prison camp that's buried here?
No.
I'm trying to make a family tie-in here.
There is a burial
There's
ground.
a
Who are
burial
buried
ground
here.
there.
Huh?
There is a burial ground there from the cemetery, but I think it might have been more prisoners than people that worked there.
Yeah.
But this prisoners, it was a new type of prison. There were no walls, they didn't have fencing up. The people were integral parts of the community. They would go out during the day and deliver milk or help milk cows, and then they'd go back to the prison at night. Sometimes they did work on the farm, but sometimes they farmed out.
A real minimum security.
A real minimum security. And the superintendent of the prison had a very different way. Rather than penalize, like have them just sit around being bored, he felt like keeping them busy and active and doing something productive and gaining skills. And it was a lot of drunkards and like people for misdemeanors. It was very low level crimes that were committed. But it helped people like reintegrate back into society and be able to have a skill when they left. And some people, I think, didn't want to leave.
So there was a lot of service value to our community.
Yes.
that
Absolutely.
resided
Oh,
there
yes.
at the
Yes,
prison.
Absolutely.
it was a very interesting model, like, it was a very interesting model for the time.
Interesting, because that was the first model of its kind and we want to tear it down.
Yeah.
Okay,
There were prisoners who came to work with my grandfather on his farm
yeah.
to help him with the normal farm chores, okay? And so, you know, it was nothing for them to be out there working and going to the well on his farm for water and everything else. So, I mean, you know, it was just a normal part of life as far as they were concerned over there.
Thank you.
I wanna suggest a couple other things. A letter's fine, we can absolutely do that. We could do a reverse 911 to our residents with the phone number at the state of where they should call to register their thoughts, or an email address. We could put the letter, as we said, on the website as part of a top-level alert, because it is time sensitive. Again, because this letter did not include a date, I am concerned that this is about to be done immediately. And then here's the final option, maybe not final, but another option. And I recognize fully that every legal dollar that we spend is precious, but we do have the possibility of filing an injunction to help protect what we believe is inherent to the town of Rutland. The fact is that DCR over the years has arbitrarily punished Rutland across multiple areas. I can remember them stopping a mountain biking club from biking in that property with a very good science teacher because they argued that paint chips from the bikes could affect the watershed. But they let trucks in to hunt. So we had that. They have, as we know, we've spent tens of thousands of dollars defending our water supply. That has been DCR stepping in and kind of putting their foot down on our necks.
Water coming through there is down by shaft 7, which is
Yep.
ahead of, coming in from Sharnik, ahead of the entrance to the prison camp, you know, by about
Yep.
a mile and a half, 2 miles, yeah.
But I mean, I'm talking about our own water supply, right? Our own water supply has been restricted by DCR relative to growth because they told us we were taking too much, using too much, whatever. So there's quite the history at this point of the DCR behaving in a manner that is having a negative effect on Rutland. I'm we're never gonna get this back.
Well, at one point, they were looking into allowing towns who had the waterway running through it to be able to tap into it
Yeah.
to use it, okay?
Sure.
And that failed that failed on Beacon Hill. So, okay, so, you know, it's still the closed system that it has been and will continue to be for a while.
I
Yeah, I
guess,
think we need to get that letter as soon as we can.
so I guess
Good
I'm
one.
not my concern with going the legal route, I would love to say absolutely yes, is the cost, obviously, and given the current budget
Absolutely.
situation.
Yep.
I don't know if there can be, if there's friends or if the Historical Society could do fundraising to, if that's even an option, to try to help with legal fees, I don't know. Because I know that there's a lot of broad public support for maintaining the prison camps. And so,
So the Historical Society, I assume, is a registered nonprofit. We'd have to check and make sure.
Yes, they are. So we could do a gift account through them, cause we've already talked about.
Well, no, that would be their own, they would take the donation and then they would actually make a donation to the town.
Yeah.
A gift account is something that could be set up in the town, through Unipay.
Okay.
But that's different and probably something Heather should figure out what is best for us. The Historical Society, by the way, can do what they want, to your point. They can start taking donations in the next hour if they wanted to. And make it specific to legal fees to protect the prison camps. But from the town perspective, I think we'd have to do a gift account under youth.
Could we do that? Cause if I put it out there on if I put it out there, I can put out the information on Facebook, but we need to know what to put out there.
Well, I think the discussion, at least for this board tonight, is it worth seeing what KP thinks is possible?
for me personally, yes, but I don't know what, like, you know, if that can be a conversation in amongst other to get a what's feasible, the cost, whatever,
Okay.
but also move forward with getting the information out to the public with ways
Yep.
to contact. We send our own
Yep.
letters, because I think they need to hear all of it. And I would maybe even suggest that our letter, obviously is, we talked about whom to send it to, but also obviously include Senator Durant and Rep. Ferguson, but also Senator Comerford.
And Gobi.
And Gobi was one that we had already talked about because it's the Rural Affairs Director. But I would almost say see if we could add Senator Comerford because she's the one that's fighting so much for the Quabbin land and the state pilots and everything also.
Yep.
To get it on her radar as continuing of
Yep.
Central and North Central and Western Mass.
So here's what's right now on the table, and I guess we would want to do a motion and a vote on any and all of these. A letter that the chair and TA will write and send immediately, basically restating all of our thoughts tonight. A statement on the website, a reverse 911 call, giving people the information that they need, because not everybody goes to the website. We could go to cable as well. And perhaps pursuing getting an estimate from KP on whether we have any leg to stand on. I think that, to your point, if they said to us, well, we've got nothing here. Or we have something here, but it's gonna cost you X. I guess we need to know that before we jump in.
Right.
Yeah, I guess my feeling is we'd have to say, we gotta pursue every option we can.
Yeah.
Because you're right, once this is gone,
It's gone.
it's gone.
We had a bunch of counter proposals that we were considering as well. We kind of had them, shall we say, under our hat to some extent, at least we hadn't mentioned it to DCR. But I don't know if that will,
I think it's past that. I think it's past that.
you think it's past that?
We just need to say, save it and just leave it the way it is.
Yeah, see, my concern is timeliness, like you said, it's
Oh,
Yes.
that every day or two we take trying to figure something out before we
Yep.
do something is,
no, we
Yes.
can't take any time. Peter, to your point, I guess, a question to you is, the last time you met with this group,
Yes.
how was it left? Because it feels like this letter came out of the blue today.
It was left when we had that meeting, the big public meeting at the library. Oh, Lindsay's got something.
So I wanna pull up my exact minutes to see, it was left, we asked what the next steps would be. We had an info session, 30 people were there, DCR was there, we said, here's our proposal, and they said, we'll get back to you. And we said, who's reviewing our proposal and what's the timeline? And they said, we don't know. We'll get back to you. So they left it very open-ended. We didn't know if we would hear in a week, a month, a year, never. And this is the first contact we've had.
I was gonna say, I got from them, and I'm not sure if you had a subsequent meeting, that basically it was Dan and another gentleman.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Scano.
they were the two that were going to make the decision,
Yep.
and whatever they wanted to do was going to be the decision, but that and they would maybe have the courtesy to tell us what the decision was, but maybe not.
And Durant pushed them to say, are you gonna let us know before you do anything? And this is them letting us know before
Yes.
they do something with no date on it, so the
Yes.
concern is that they might do it tonight or
And
tomorrow morning or
I'm
whenever.
in there almost every weekend, I'm sure you guys are in there quite often also. They have done a lot of
Clearing.
clearing, mowing, logging, but they
Yes.
also, with the past couple weeks, pushed a whole bunch of natives into the wetlands and then put new rocks down right before the culvert that goes over the water when you go right in from Intervale. That was new within, I think, a week and a half or 2 weeks, because I was admiring all the milkweed and everything, and all of a sudden, the next day or the next weekend, it was all pushed in to the wetlands and with mud and giant rocks crossing there now. So I don't know who did that, and I don't know what the rationale was, if there was
It would be DCR.
storm damage or something, but they definitely have been in there. I will say I often see where River Watershed Advisory state patrol, I forget what they're
Oh,
called.
MWRA, the authority,
Yeah.
Mass Water Resource Authority.
And they're very friendly, they haven't had any I mean, they say sometimes there's little splurges of graffiti that they go in with spray paint, or oftentimes the resident graffitiist will go in and cover it up. And if I think you guys spoke about it, that if we know that this is an ongoing concern, we'll have a volunteer group that goes in every day or certain days of the week with white paint to white over it, like it's not an
That big of a
insurmountable
deal.
concern for any of us.
Right.
And it wasn't a public safety concern at all, so.
The graffiti at this point is an art installation, with the exception of the people who every once in a while go in and feel a horrible, desperate need to put a swastika in their place, which should of course be covered immediately. We literally are having this conversation because of what is likely one very sick individual.
But to your points, when graffiti happens elsewhere, we don't go start tearing
Right.
buildings down.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you.
The response to the concerns is so drastic. The few concerns that there
match.
are, the severity of the concerns that there are. And again, concerns by DCR only. These are not concerns by our public safety department.
Or residents that
Right.
or that I'm
Right.
aware of, that they're being flooded with resident concerns,
No.
because I don't, our public safety doesn't hear resident concerns or anything.
And this has 100% come up as an issue across all of the Quabbin lands, which is it is the local police and fire departments that bear the brunt of the needs there. And we now have had our police chief say very clearly that crime issues on that property, unlike what might be others, like forest fires, has not been an issue.
Correct.
So it sounds like they're making things up just to do what they wanted.
And the fire chief said something similar, there have not been a lot of calls for injuries or concerns.
Or
Okay.
arson or anything in there.
All right, so again, we have a list of options in front of us. I think we just need a motion for which options you'd like to take from the list.
I'm personally comfortable with all of the options with everything, and specifically from the legal perspective, to have the conversation with KP to see what our options could be, and a ballpark expense, and then we can utilize whether that's crowdsourcing, some donations with a gift account or
Yep.
something,
Alright,
I don't wanna know how the,
well, so the list on the table is the letter, the website, the reverse 911, the legal inquiry. Did I have something else?
emails and social media posts.
Social media.
So, and just to be clear, this is an anticipated letter that will be written tonight?
And actually, I think we'll ask you to join us in signing it as the chair, and you guys will take a motion on that once we figure out what we're doing here.
Okay,
My guess is that because you've been the primary commission board taking care of this whole time,
Mhm.
we should really just be joining you in this fight. And so, should we go to a legal point, we'll end up doing a joint executive session posting with you as well.
okay.
Further clarification. So I'm completely comfortable uploading whatever to the website tonight, we can send it out as an alert.
Mhm.
I would hesitate to send a reverse 911 tonight. I think that it'll be later and it may not be as well received if it comes in
Okay.
tonight. And then we could work on that first thing tomorrow morning
Yep.
when people are up and
Fair enough.
Like 9-10 a.m.
Yeah.
timeframe, somewhere before noon, not
Sure.
too early, like
No, that's fair.
just
9.
wanna make sure that we're all on the same page, that by the time we
I agree.
get that accomplished, that call might go out later than, and not have the
Yeah, no.
the
it's-
desired
yes,
effect.
yes,
Sure,
yes.
it's not a life-threatening emergency.
Yes.
I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I would make a motion to move forward with the advocacy to preserve the Rutland historical camps with urgent action requests with letters to the governor, lieutenant governor, the rural director of rural affairs, Ann Goby, including Senator Durant, Representative Ferguson, Senator Comerford, and any other central western Mass state land advocates. A reverse 911 tomorrow at a times friendly and email the reverse 911 notification system, updating the website, putting out a social media push, and requesting some input from KP as far as what our options are, as well as a cost estimate. I know that will probably range and not be anywhere near an exact, but to see what our options may be from a legal perspective.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Is there any more discussion or additions? All in favor?
Matt's and I.
I'm gonna,
Second, I.
And Dib, aye. We're gonna give you a minute now. If you'd like to join us in these, you should make a similar motion.
All right, I'll entertain a similar motion.
So moved. So,
Okay, so Lindsay moves all of the above, what was just passed by the, so is that good enough?
yes, and
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, Michelle seconds. I guess we should probably do a roll call because we're on Zoom. All in favor?
Moss, aye.
Bannery, aye.
Pacer, bye. So carried.
Thank you. All right. We appreciate everything you all do. Is there anything else from your report? Because I think we've probably done all we can tonight on this.
Okay.
Is there anything else in your report that you would like us to focus on?
For the, oh, thank you. Yes, we do have a couple of them.
Okay.
Meeting space. I tried to adjust my schedule. I teach after school, music lessons, and the days that the library is available really don't line up with the days that I'm available. And the same is true with, the same may or may not be true with other members of the commission. We're going to try to do the best we can for the time being, but having that one room over in the annex on Tuesdays when we've been meeting for several years on Tuesdays.
Tuesday is our best day.
Studio.
Yes, the that too.
Concom and
We kinda
planning
need that
board
back.
use all Tuesdays. So we didn't know, besides the annex, if there was any space on Tuesday anywhere.
we really could use that, and
So-
we really could use the Wood Studio back as soon as humanly possible.
So they're working on their RFP, the regional dispatch, they're working on their RFP to find an alternative space, but we are safe to think that they will be there for at least another year. So unfortunately, the Wood Studio is not going to be available. There is some conversations that we've had with the elementary schools, in particular Glenwood.
Okay.
Has a great library meeting room. And they have said that a phone call to their school admin can get you some more scheduling details.
Okay.
They're open most evenings, and they have the tech capacity to do the Zoom and any other activities. And then we're working on the downstairs in the town hall. We've talked about that once recreation is over.
It's not pretty, but it is a space, and we've used it for years for meetings, so.
I remember when we have.
We're
Exactly.
small.
Yes,
It is, it's
we
small.
don't need a whole lot of, we just need space that's
Okay.
legal and accessible.
And community center, we're not ready yet, right?
No, we do have our meeting next week with the Council on Aging Board.
Okay.
We're gonna discuss that at that time.
Okay, and I would just say if you do end up going with one of the schools, you could really do a sort of symbiotic relationship. I'm sure they would love to see you bring something in that they could work into some of their classes, depending on the age group and which school you choose. So maybe there's an opportunity there to build a relationship at the lower grade levels.
And I believe, to follow up on the school comment, I believe the conversation had been that the schools are staffed with janitorial help until 10 o'clock-ish, and so generally the building has some sort of staff access. So for larger meetings, obviously, there might be other considerations, but for responsible board and committee meetings, it's manageable.
And then for the monument, we were just kind of in the beginning stages of that. One of the things we were considering was where to put it. There's a plot of land across from the common. I remember it being known as Johnny Elmseed Nursery.
I know Johnny Appleseed, but yeah, I remember the plaque is still over there. It was
Yes.
Johnny something seed, some fruit seed.
And
There was a church building there for some years.
Yes.
Yes.
so whether we were to, we're just in the beginning stages of this, but if locating it either on the common or having, I think we even kind of dubbed it Minuteman Park or something along those lines, just to kind of open that up and maybe even going along with some of the plans that we've had as a town, open space, and would that be something that you would all be amenable with?
I think for that space, we are all gonna have to do some homework, and I'm not sure who's going to do it, but that plot needs to be marked again. I think the neighbors have been gradually sort of caring for it. And I wouldn't want us to start getting in a fight over eminent domain.
Right.
So we probably need to reflag it, and that might be a conversation you should have with the assessor, so you have a map, maybe the planning board, maybe get some help on that one. The other space you have that needs work as well is the park down by the Rufus Putnam Park, where the pond is,
Yeah, Putnam Park.
Putnam Park. There's a lot of actually lovely space there
Yeah.
that no one is visiting right now because since the ice storm, it's really been overgrown.
Apparently there used to be a pond that would freeze over and people would ice
They
skate.
still do.
There is a pond there.
Yes.
Yeah, but I
We
mean, it
skate
used
in
to
it
be
still.
more accessible
Yes,
than.
people used to.
Yes, it's not easy to drive down
No,
there
there were
anymore.
picnic tables, they would have bonfires down there,
Yeah.
there were lights down there for a while, and they've since gone, yeah.
He was a veteran of the war too.
We have one other location, there is a very small parcel that is in between the post office and our municipal parking lot. And we had a former DPW director who was talking about making it a pocket park. Now, it's a bit of an odd space for a monument, but it depends on the monument, so you could take a look at it.
Okay.
And something else, if I may, for the 250th anniversary celebration or birthday celebration, I think we all on the board have been getting a lot of emails for commemorative trees, that native trees to be planted in honor of the nation's 250th. I don't know if the historical commission has received any of those. I don't know the specifics of any of them. I can look and see, but to something that's a long-lasting
Yes.
kind of living monument, I guess.
That's kind of the approach we were taking too, something that would outlast this year and at least our goal is to get something started by the end of the year. What did we say, get the thermometer up by the end of the year?
Yes,
And there are a few Revolutionary War veterans buried in
Yes.
Rutland. So I think having a dedicated monument for them is
Yeah.
nice.
Right.
Okay. And then I think stone walls,
Like
we kind of had that on the,
delineation,
did we have that on the agenda for later on?
maybe,
Do we need to mention anything with that?
no,
To be continued.
Okay. We're
we're all good.
Yeah, we're kind of looking at that with the planning board. There's a joint meeting or something along those lines coming up. It's on their agenda too.
If I may, one thing that I've heard some chatter, and I'm sure it's from your commission also, is the scenic roads bylaw and the ability for enforcement and
Yes.
everything. So I don't know, maybe that's a select board to get
That's-
it on the radar.
Well, it's on our agenda.
Yeah, but I was gonna say to ensure that it's maybe relooked at.
We're on it.
Yeah, it needs to be.
Thank you.
Because
It
there's
needs to
no
be.
map per se.
And I don't know, I think, yes, I think that there's finger pointing when it comes to any sort of enforcement. And no one wants to take the responsibility and no one wants to not
Right.
necessarily take the responsibility, but then actually ensure that what needs to happen happens.
And we can't even find out where the property lines are, like in terms of where are which stone walls would technically be part of our purview and what would not. We can't get that information. We're told it's not available.
But
DPW.
to Leah's point, by beefing up the bylaw, there are many other towns, the Sudburys, the Lexingtons, the whatevers, whose bylaw says when it is unclear where the stone wall is, you have to assume that it is in the easement and deserves to be protected. Easy fix.
Yeah.
And I would consider this is expanding that into state park and state-owned land, because there's a lot of stone walls in there also that
Yes.
don't seem to get
The-
the respect that
Yes, I agree.
so just
Thank you. That's a
Okay.
good point.
Thank you for all the work you do.
Thank you.
Is there anything else?
I
think
think,
we're good.
did we get everything?
We can stay all night.
Yeah.
But we won't.
You're obviously
Thank
welcome
you.
to stay here. You're welcome to adjourn your meeting. You can make a decision, whatever you wanna do.
Are we
Adjourn.
good?
Yes,
Do we
I'll
need
make a
to-
motion to adjourn.
Okay. So Michelle made the motion.
Second.
Lindsay seconds. Oh yeah, that's right. We're on Zoom, so we
Yeah.
gotta do the roll call. All right, I'll start with Lindsay.
Moss eye.
Van Reed, aye.
Pacer, bye.
7:01.
Thank you again.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, the commission, for all the passion that you and work that you have been doing the past few years. It's been great to see, and I really appreciate it, and I know the majority of town really appreciates it, so thank you.
And we appreciate the support that we're getting as well.
Yes,
Thank you.
indeed. Thank you.
Let's all do what we can. We'll see where this goes.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna move on to our old business. We have, yet again, the TA review document, which, I was going to send this to everyone as homework this past week, but I think I hate to say this, we need to take one more look at it. Heather had a concern. Heather, do you want me to try to phrase it, or are you the better person? Me? Okay, I think everything that Harry had suggested made a lot of sense. The only thing that was a bit of a concern was removing that one category So essentially not allowing anyone to get a 3. And it could essentially adversely affect not just Heather, but any of our future reviews, because you're left with this gap where the person will always skew lower, if that makes sense. And I don't know that I necessarily phrased that right, Heather, feel free to jump in.
I think that the request was to add an additional category, it was to eliminate the meets job satisfaction or is doing,
The 3, the number 3. Yeah.
doing the work. And add a other performance evaluation that was lower than is not meeting the standard, like poor. And when I was reading the definition of that lowest standard, I couldn't come up with vocabulary that was less than. Right, it really, and I think the actual verbiage is this person should not be allowed to continue to work there. Right, is I think the actual language that, so I was struggling with what to add that was lower than you should probably dismiss this employee. So when we talk about wanting to, the options I guess would be somebody could make a suggestion about what is lower than the lowest level. Somebody could make a suggestion as to how to change the statement for the middle, meeting expectations. Something that is neutral, but is better language than is getting the job done. And then, or adding another level that was higher than, exceeds expectation or is a rock star. We could add that. So I guess looking at it, trying to meet what Harry's recommendation is to eliminate that middle level, but still maintain the rating system so that you're not predisposed to giving somebody a higher mark than what you intend to. So I guess.
Yeah, what I was trying to convey was that my feeling was if you're doing the job you're supposed to do, that's neither a plus nor a minus in terms of what you're doing. My wife and I had a long discussion about this. And I was explaining to her some of it, and she goes, "You did what?" I said, "Well, I don't think if you do poor, you should get a 0. She goes, "Nobody gets a 0 for that. That's a 1. I'm going, "Yeah, but she goes, "No, it's not." So rethinking some of those things, maybe the poor 0 over conveys what I was trying to express in terms of unsatisfactory. So I guess maybe unsatisfactory is probably about as low, I don't know how much lower you can go than Heather.
Well, I have the language, I think it says,
Is inadequate.
as
Pretty extreme.
performance that is inadequate, definitely inferior, definitely inferior to the standards required for the position, and at a level that cannot be allowed to continue. So I think that's the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Would it be maybe a compromise that instead of it saying meets job standards, which I agree may be poorly written, and you could say meeting expectations, which instead of standards you have expectations?
I like the word standards personally.
It's less subjective.
Yeah,
Well,
less
standards is what is there now, so I guess.
Yeah, I guess I would say it would be nice for us to have 5.
Yes.
Because, right, then you've got 2 that are lower in varying grades, 2 that are higher in varying grades, and 1, I didn't mean to do it that way, which is the right in the middle. We're good. Whether that's the 3 or the 2 or the whatever the number is, I think if we have 5 options, that would give us what you are both talking about.
Yeah, I think that you're right there. my other point was, yes, I don't wanna make it seem, well, everybody, whoever's rating it in the future, whatever, is gonna have to look at what numbers they're gonna use, but I would like to see a 5. I think there are circumstances going forward where you can have a town administrator who is absolutely exceptional. And giving them a 4, I don't think expresses that exceptionality. And that's why I initially put 5 on my list and had that. But as far as 3 being, well, improvement needed, then standard job, how would you do that? 3 for
Yeah.
just doing your job?
Well, again, I think we should just have 5 numbers, right? So the middle ground, whether that's the 2 or the 3, is you're doing your job.
Yeah,
We're not thrilled, but we're not unhappy. You're doing your job. It's a perfectly fine place to be. It means you have room for improvement. It's fine. But I think in the absence of that, we're right now left far more skewed on the lower end. That's right. That's what we're looking at right now, where we only have poor, unsatisfactory, and improvement needed. It's all bad.
If I may, in my kind of science careers, we've always had a 5-point scale and it's been
Yeah.
1 through 5.
Yeah.
1 is the unsatisfactory, 2 is the needs improvement or working towards, and 3 has been the meets standards or expectations. 4 has been performs above consistently, and 5 has been the, to your point, Harry, the exceptional, like you're blowing,
Right.
blowing this out of the
Blows out of the park.
park.
you just
So-
qualified for the Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
That gets you 5.
Yeah, so I think that, like I said, in my kind of review lifetime, it's been a 1 through 5 scale.
And obviously that part is subjective. If we have 5 levels, it really doesn't matter what the levels are. It could be 100 through 500 or
Right,
what the,
right.
the meaning is gonna be the same no matter what, so the numbers are
and-
irrelevant.
Right, and again, I tried to put into perspective that these numbers apply to each item that you're doing. So it's not like we're saying,
Right.
this item, well, we have to do a 3 or 4 because it's number 4. No, we could do a 1 through 5 on each one of those criteria.
Yep.
But I just, in my life's work in the past, where I was hiring and firing and doing ratings on employees, I always felt that if the employee deserved it, there wasn't anything there that you could say under the system that was out there that you are absolutely a great somebody we want to keep in this town or keep on the job. This is how much we value you type of thing. And so that's why I figured I'd put that in.
I
Okay.
like it.
We like it?
I
So
like it.
am I hearing 1 through 5 or 0 through 4 or
No, 0, forget this.
forget the 0? Drop the 0.
I
Drop the
got my lashing. That's
Well,
okay.
Okay, are we good then with the 1 through 5?
I really did try to look at it from all perspectives and try to take myself out of the conversation that I would be on the recipient. Because I do understand what you're saying. I really do. I mean, it just, also wanting to make sure that the document works for everybody.
Yeah.
Mostly the 5 of you.
Well, and if we get this right, it's a document that hopefully will work for you, for department heads and, right?
Right.
It's- In the absence of an HR department, welcome, you're our HR.
There will be a final document coming.
All right,
I think I understand what you're asking, and we'll make those modifications.
okay. Again, am I hearing 1 through 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Question, do we have a explanation for exceptional somewhere in the system out there?
I think you should send it to her and we'll use that.
Yeah.
I do.
Whatever your language is.
That's what we're gonna use.
Yeah.
Okay. If somebody would like a vote on this, we've talked about this document quite a bit. If we wanna have a motion on the 1 through 5, we're gonna go. And you're gonna then get this. It will be due before Labor Day and we're gonna put this to bed.
Alright, I would move to update our rating system for the TA evaluation to include a 1 through 5 system as discussed.
Thank you. With language provided by Harry for number 5. Thank you.
I'll get that to you tomorrow.
And should we aim for the meeting on the 31st?
Oh.
To have the evaluation?
You wanna do it before Labor Day?
Well, I won't
Sure won't be here.
I won't be here. So we can do it the 31st or we can wait till October.
Oh, God, yeah. We good, 31st? Okay, we're doing it.
I will have my self-evaluation to you by the end of the week.
Fantastic. All right. Is there a second to Leah's motion? For the 1 through 5?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Matt's and I.
Wait a minute,
Second, aye.
And Dib, aye. Fantastic. Yes.
I'm not sure if we have a resident. Are you here for the Brittenell list?
Yeah,
Do you wanna, that's under new business,
I
sorry,
will
I just,
absolutely move on. Yes.
sorry, I
Nope,
just see
nope.
the other ones.
No, and you know what? I need to make myself a note next time because I do always plan to move things around and I knew you were here for something else and then I just lost
I
track.
raised my hand, but you were so focused.
Was I? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right, we're going to take an item out of order. We're moving over to new business number 8.1. We have two people here from Brittenell Drive. They did send a letter into us, an email actually, I think, an email, regarding concerns about speeding, plowing operations and erosion control. Welcome. I'm sorry you've been here now for an hour and 15 minutes. We're happy to have you. Floor is yours.
Cassie and I are both here representing a lot of the residents on Brittenell, it being August and vacation, a lot of people couldn't come. But don't let just the two of us here sway the importance of this issue. We have a petition of, I think, about 50 people signing it. This is something I've been working on for over a year now. The condition of Brittenell now compared to, I've only seen it for the last 3 years, I can't even speak to what it used to look like. The Grolls have lived there for 20 or 30 years and they can speak to the changes that have happened. But this used to be a scenic dirt road with, I have the stats in the letter, something like 19 houses on it back in the 70s. There's now over 30 houses and you now have one development and about to be a second development dumping cars onto this road. The amount of cars on this road, the speed at which these cars travel is unsafe. People used to walk on this road regularly, run on this road regularly, walk their dogs. People moved to that part of town for the rural scenic beauty of the road, and now it's unsafe for us to access it. I realize at this point there's nothing you can do about the amount of cars on that road, but I urge you to consider the speed limit. When I found out about the safety zone, it really intrigued me. I did my research. I realized that it doesn't jump out as an obvious safety zone because there's no school there, there's no hospital there. But when you read the definition of a safety zone, it's a road that is a safety issue because of its various features, which includes no shoulder, no sidewalk, blind curves and hills, so you cannot see a car coming. And when that car is coming at 35, 40 miles an hour, it's terrifying. I challenge you to try and walk from one end to the other and tell me that you feel safe on that road. I realize that a safety zone designation, I believe with my research, does come with a traffic study, which costs money. I get that. I urge you to consider it all the same. If that is an objection, you can put advisory signs. It doesn't officially change the speed limit. The speed limit per DPW and police is 30 on that road. An advisory sign, it's the orange or yellow signs that are diamond shape. It's just, I'm under the impression, a select board vote that you are advising people to drive 20 miles an hour. I was on Goodnow Road in Princeton today. They have those advisory signs, and it actually above it also says, please respect nature, please respect our walkers, we are trying to live in harmony together, or something like that. It's so beautiful, and I urge you to consider that. I was working on my speed argument for the last year, and the amount of concerns besides speed that have come up in the last couple months, I come here with a much bigger picture of saving the rural nature of not only Brittenell, but all of the scenic roads in town. It's starting now on Brittenell, but it's gonna spread. It's gonna spread to all of these roads. And nobody's saving them. We bring the concerns to the planning board says they don't have teeth. We bring them to DPW, it's falling on deaf ears. We bring them to police comes down, they say, I don't see it. And so we have all these complaints and people agree that there are issues, but nobody seems to be doing anything about it. So I'm coming to you guys to say, what do we do about it? Besides the speed, one of our big concerns is the widening of the roads. Every time DPW plows, they're inching a little farther and a little farther and a little farther. My initial concern was that they're killing the trees when they do that. And by taking some of the road away, they're getting closer to the stone walls and we're noticing some of the stones starting to fall from those walls. And this winter could be it where half of these walls fall. I was doing some research last week about the widening of the roads and the erosion. And so there's a hill towards, just at the bottom of where Hilltop's about to go in, I forget what number it is. There's a new house off to the side, over by the Palmagussit side. And when we had the rainstorm last week, there was a river coming down the side of the road. That's supposed to happen. That's how these roads are made, is that they're supposed to be sloped so that the rain comes down the side. But when the rain came down the side, it was affecting the infrastructure of Blair's development. So he came in and dumped all this gravel on the side of the road that went up onto the embankment that's gonna affect the vegetation, and you now have taken the slope out of consideration, so now you're dumping water into the middle of the road that's gonna affect the integrity of the road. Dirt roads, the management of dirt roads, it's a science. There are other towns that have boards and committees and personnel whose job it is to make sure that these roads are maintained the way they're supposed to. And when we're having developers dump gravel willy-nilly in places, nobody's in charge here. And in fact, the widening of the road is actually, per research, what contributes to speeding. I still would love the advisory signs, but the widening of the roads is one of the biggest factors to people speeding down roads. I think that's my spiel. That's what I have.
I think to just add to that too, I'm at 89 Britnell, and just before the end of the school year, we had a speeding vehicle hit. It was a hit and run. Took down a telephone pole with live wires across Britnell. My second grader was coming home from Naquag. We had no way to tell the buses that they weren't allowing any traffic in and out. It happened to be right where my mailbox was. I was going to pick her up at the end of my driveway for the bus and saw that it had happened. And they had to like clear an emergency way for us to go right and go the Palmagussit way to pick her up from Naquag because it was too dangerous to have the bus come down. So again, that was a hit and run. They found the person who did it, but all due to speed. The road is just so zigzaggy and the speeds is just out of control on that road.
I think we're so fortunate given the speed, the amount of cars that are now on this road, the speed at which they're traveling, and the gradual widening of the road. We're so fortunate that that few amount of incidents have happened.
Yeah.
You said a couple weeks ago that with the reduction of police and fire, something catastrophic is gonna happen. We can't wait until something catastrophic happens. So I'm urging you to take some kind of action to protect the people that live on this road, protect the people that don't even live on this road. There are people on Glenwood and on Campbell that like to walk on this road.
Through the chair. Question.
Mhm.
Ms. Moss, have you talked to the police about lowering the speed limit to 20?
Yes, he's in full support of it.
And why doesn't he?
Because you have to go through the state. There are specific channels to get a speed limit changed. The Mass DOT has to change speed limits.
So actually,
Oh, wait a
the
minute.
magic of internet, we accepted townwide the statute that would allow
Yeah.
us to drop it to 25.
Right.
But we have to name the streets one by one or do what Princeton did, which is what you're referencing, which Princeton signs essentially say 20 unless otherwise posted. So they did it that way. I believe the chief would prefer to do street by street. And I think we could probably get him to give us a list of streets and then it could come to us.
Because I think we authorized this about 2 or 3 years ago. We gave him the authority to assign speeds to streets that he would.
Well, I think we accepted the statute
Yeah,
and the board has to take his recommendation and act on it and make it official.
okay,
But he completely agrees that Brittenell should not be a 30.
okay.
And,
So
sorry.
can,
also.
maybe we should contact the chief and say, can you write a letter to us saying we'll
Yeah.
authorize that particular Brittenell, it'll be 20 miles an hour?
Well, I mean, to ask for a list of streets, right?
Huh?
It might not just be Brittenell, probably
Right, it could be
Sassawana
other
is having the
streets.
exact same issues, it's
Yeah, I
I
think
widening.
this is a
I think
start.
for consistency's sake, make all the scenic roads 20.
I think it has to be 25, but
Why?
I think if I may, I was gonna say, reading a quick read, and I am not good with my legalese. MGL chapter 90, section 18B that you had referenced in your letter to us.
mhm.
I don't read it if it's
Of the
not,
safety zone.
yeah, about the safety zone. If it's not a state road, a state highway, I don't believe that we have to conduct a traffic study.
And that's why I say I couldn't find anything
Definitive, I
definitive,
think
whether, some said you did, some said you didn't, I didn't know.
the way I read it is if the select board or DPW are the kind of governing of your town roads and there's no other authority, then that's the entity that can make that declaration.
That's how I first read it, which is why I thought this was a slam dunk.
Yeah,
And then the more I read it, I thought it wasn't, which is why I've sat on this for a long time trying to do my research.
I think if we can get that lowered, that at least would be a start to
Yeah.
try to fix some of
yeah,
these
it's a
things.
step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yes,
I would just add
I'm sorry, I've been a little lax about this tonight,
Michelle
name and address,
Henry,
please,
230 Charnock Hill Road.
Thank you.
Sassawana has also, I've seen the creep of the road widening on Sassawana
Oh,
as well.
Yep.
And cutting into the stone walls, but more the widening, cause that definitely deters the traffic. And
So, Lindsay, to your point about enforcement, that's been talked about for years, because the scenic road bylaw has been updated fairly recently, and they always talk about how the fines are really not particularly, right, they don't hold a lot of weight. That said, we're in a bit of a weird position now, right? So enforcement for this bylaw is building inspector, planning board, and the tree warden. And some of the issues that we're having, we're doing ourselves internally. And so, this is going to take a formal request to the enforcing boards and positions for very specific things to begin fines. So, for example, you named one, if it's a contractor, whatever, where they adversely affected the stone wall in the area, or they adversely affected a tree in the area, they're gonna have to fine them, but they're going to have the complaint brought to them at a meeting in order to do that, or at least the planning board would. So I think for the building, now, and as you know, our building inspector is new. I think we'd have to start talking to the building inspector about what that process is gonna look like for him in terms of, I've had a complaint, I'm going to investigate the complaint, and then I'm going to address the complaint. Because I don't think we've really gone through that process anytime recently, for sure. Same with the tree warden, who is our DPW director. So we've got, maybe it's time to split that up and put tree warden into a different position, maybe through conservation, which would at least allow for sort of a separation of powers, maybe, if that's the way to phrase it. And that's something we could look into on a broader.
I have no problem writing a letter to the proper authorities. My concern is, we've addressed it here, there's no teeth in that bylaw. So even if I take a video of the plow taking a chunk of the road off, the stone might not fall right after that plow goes by. And how do we hold people accountable for a month from now? Did that plow cause that stone to fall?
Okay, so you're asking for the process for a bylaw change.
Well, we're working on the bylaw change.
You
We're
are.
working, Historical Commission is working with Planning Board to get the bylaw change.
Okay.
That is not gonna happen by this winter.
Well, no.
Wait.
But-
No, some years ago, I had the opportunity to be sitting behind a camera, and there was a long and involved discussion on paved and unpaved roads in this town. Now, I'm wondering, is the feeling of the residents on that road to still remain an unpaved road?
100%.
100%, okay, all right. Because
We,
that was
I hear
one
you.
of the roads that was discussed along with Sassawana too, so, it's just one of these things now. I've been over the road recently, and made some mental notes about things, and when you get up to the Glenwood end of it, it does get a little bit tough up there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That you have the hills and the curves, it's blind, and when you drive it, I want you to look at how many times a mailbox, a telephone pole is sticking out in the road, because the road has widened by a foot or two in the last year or two.
Yep.
So if it's widening by a foot a winter, what is gonna happen this winter?
So obviously the board could instruct Heather to have a conversation with DPW. And I guess the question for Sassawana specifically, and I do think Brittenell is affected as well, for all I know Emerald is too, is that over time the road has sunk relative to the rest of the grade. It's definitely affecting what they're doing with those big plow blades. And I'm not sure what that long-term fix is, but they're not wrong. Those roads are wider than they were, and it's not a good thing. We're gonna lose those big trees on both sides eventually, because we're killing the trees.
You
so-
already are, they're dying.
So yeah. And I don't know if that means we should maybe tackle it one by one and do one road if we're able, if we have enough materials. I have to say, Gary Kelleher was good at knowing the crowning process, what you're talking about, and Vermont, the state of Vermont generally, they're just good at it. And to be fair, Princeton has had a roads commission for a very long time. They're one of the few communities around here that spend tax dollars and not just Chapter 90 dollars on their roads. I think they put a lot of effort in. They recently had one situation where a dirt road flooded so badly that someone was stuck up, beyond their axles. They ended up putting millings down, and that was a big change for them, and I remember that vividly, but in any case, we've got some opportunity there for learning, I think, from our neighbors.
I guess the question is, in your opinion, do you think the widening of the roads is a DPW or a contractor issue? Because not in the snow time, for example.
Yep.
When there's snow, it's hard to tell where the actual thing is. So if you have an independent contractor plowing that road,
It's a good question. I've seen the plow go by my house. I have rode in the springtime when everything melted. I have photos of gravel up on my road. It's a whole nother issue, which types of vehicles are supposed to be even going down the road and working on the road to begin with. So who's doing what? It's hard to tell. That's one of the issues that I'm bringing to this board, that there's no ownership over who's doing what, who's allowed to do what on the road. Planning board actually requested one of the waivers, special conditions in the Hilltop subdivision definitive plans is that any damage to Brittenell is repaired by the developer, which in theory is a great idea. But if you're tasking construction workers with maintenance of a scenic dirt road, is the skill level there to be doing what's supposed to be done? There's a federal manual on guidelines on how to maintain dirt roads, and it's pages and pages long.
I was just gonna say,
I've
there's a
read it.
Massachusetts one, that's how to.
So just looking it up quickly, the no trucks restrictions would require us to go through MassDOT. We would have to do a traffic study for those, so that I think is off the table, at least for now. I think we've even had that conversation about Charnock Hill Road as well. There's a lot of heavy truck traffic that's cutting through using that road. I'm not saying we should take it off the table, but just we need to know that we have some hurdles to get over before we could do it.
I think a lot of things that a lot of the neighbors have talked about too, talking about the trucks, is there are a lot of towns that make dirt roads off limits to everybody except residents during mud season. That's when a lot of these problems occur. It's something to think about.
It's a public road.
Yeah, you have a problem on Brittenell because it is a bus route for Glenwood. It's pretty well used, and having them go around would be.
They choose to go around, they make that designation. When it's muddy, they say we're not going down Brentwood.
Yeah, but it's an exception and not the rule, you know what I mean? So,
I hear you.
yeah. Okay,
But I think to your point, they're able to do it at some times of the year So why is it only at sometimes and not just a blanket, like it's not an option for buses or whatever?
Well, so then,
The other consideration is obviously trying to get some sort of townwide trash service to reduce the number of trash trucks that are going up and down, trash and recycling trucks. And then obviously we don't have any control over delivery trucks or anything, but the increase, COVID, post-COVID with Amazon and everything is here all the time, doesn't help
Right.
either.
I realize that I, in racking my brain, I don't think there's a whole ton we can do about numbers of vehicles. But if those vehicles could at least be traveling safely and with distracted driving in today's day and age,
okay. So
it's
we're,
an issue.
I think we can 100% put that on the next agenda. We'll see where the police chief is with a list of streets, because I don't think it's just yours. See what he comes up with. And then as far as some of the other things, I think we'll hand over to Heather talking to DPW and see what they say. I think on Brindle, one of the issues we have is that if we actually talked about starting to reduce that road width down to what it used to be, we've never looked into sort of formal pull-offs, which is what it needs, what it used to have, but they weren't formal. It was everybody, those few people that were driving up and down would know enough that when a car was coming, you'd be the person to pull to the right and let them
You
by.
had space to pull over when there weren't as many houses as there are now.
Right, so we have a new normal there. Okay. Yeah, and as far as enforcement, for now at least, I would definitely recommend that both of you go with that, which is essentially that the neighborhood or whoever's doing it is putting a formal complaint through the building inspector. I think that's probably a great place to start. And then that would incite the inspection and then possibly the enforcement through fines.
And Lindsay, we have like signatures from most of the street.
Yep.
Mhm.
So.
Yep.
We can bring that too.
Hmm.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you for coming in. Did anybody wanna have anything else on the table for that as we move forward, or we?
No, I mean, I'm glad that, thank you for coming in and bringing it up for Britnell. I've heard it from Sassawan, I've heard it from Emerald, Irish also, so
Yep.
I know that it's not unique, but
Right.
Britnell has definitely seen a lot more construction recently, and so that I'm sure has exacerbated.
And
Yeah.
and as much as we're speaking for Brentnell, I'd like to see whatever, it's not just isolated to Brentnell. We have the conversation about the prison camp as well. In general, we need to be preserving the rural nature of this town.
Thank you.
And the scenic roads are a great place to start.
They are. Thank you both.
Thank you.
I am going to circle back to our old business. We were on to number 7.2. Was everybody okay with that letter? That's the letter requesting a seat on the Foundation Formula Review Commission. And again, we're gonna be sending that ourselves, but we're also going to be sharing it with the superintendent and the other select boards to suggest that they do the same, so they're hearing from all of us.
My understanding, I'm totally fine with the letter, I think it's good. My understanding is that it's outlined in MGL, the composition of the commission. Because it calls out the designees,
Yeah.
and so it's really trying to put some pressure on
Yeah.
having a spot via
Yeah.
one of those designees. And my understanding is they were working to seat it very quickly, so I'm not even sure if how much of it has been seated already.
I do think there's some flexibility there, but
It
it can't hurt to try.
does, right, I'm not saying, but
Yeah.
I think that, yes,
Are there edits? Do we recommend edits? No?
I'm comfortable with it, I mean,
Okay.
I thought it was really good.
thank you. So, do you want a motion to sign and send the chapter 70 requests, chapter 70 review commission request letter as presented and share it with the school administration and other Wachusett towns?
Yes, please.
That's my motion.
Thank you.
Second,
Any other good discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Matt's and I.
We're gonna,
second I.
And Deb, aye, thank you very much. Okay, the welcome sign. So I think everything that we had talked about and contemplated is in place. I know I at least have had people come to me to ask questions to make sure they're not going to miss an opportunity. And so I think getting out that information that it's not time sensitive exactly, right? That we're going to open it up and it will be a lottery and off we go. So I think everything got taken care of. If you are good with what has been presented, it will now be released. And this really isn't part of this topic tonight, and so I don't wanna get too far astray. But the only thing I could think of is if we really had an overwhelming number of applicants, something else we could offer to them other than a sign is an island to start to care for, where they could basically put in some plants or some mulch and a sign of their own on one of those. We're not there yet. I just wanted to throw that out there as a, just in case if we get inundated with people requesting these signs and we only have a finite number of spots.
I'm comfortable with the revisions. This sign policy, I think we can never finish to the liking of everyone or anything, and so I am comfortable moving forward with this as presented, and we see how this round goes.
Yep.
And then we are obviously open to feedback.
2
and-
years.
Right.
I have somebody who's already interested in the sign too, so you know.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of when.
So I would make a motion to approve and release the welcome sign policy as presented.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in
Well,
favor?
I think that I've been through this, I can't tell you how many times. And you know, the definition of fairness is that neither side gets 100% of what they want.
Oh, yep, absolutely.
So I think this is a case where that applies.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, all in favor?
Wait a minute.
Second, aye.
And did I. Great, and we're moving on. So, as we saw, Heather found the other town clerk job description for us. So this is the one that was crafted that was very specific to an appointed clerk, which is now what we are looking at, obviously, as we move forward. The union and grade is to be determined, but I don't believe as a department head, this person would be union as of right now. You had a huge chance to look at it. Did you have questions about this, Heather? I mean, it looked.
I think that I did offer one strike through, I believe, with the parking clerk duties.
Yes, I saw that.
Cause that is now handled, it is outsourced
Yep.
by the police department.
I think the only thing that I was sort of missing, and it's gray area and it's at your whatever, is public service and communication does not specifically outline the website or social media, and obviously this is an office that needs to be communicating with the public a lot. It isn't, it's there if you read between the lines, but it's not sort of specifically described. But other than that,
I think, Sheila, to your point, I think at minimum, the website, because that is really important for posting agendas, minutes, results of town clerk office responsibilities,
Yeah.
elections and town meetings and everything, so I would social media would be nice, but I think that that's less of a priority, but definitely
Yep.
the website, you know, familiarity, comfortable, willingness to learn whatever that language is. But I think that that's, for me, huge, because I often am going to the website. I'm not gonna call the clerk's office to look for information.
Right.
I go to the website
Right.
and
Okay.
so, and it's not just for the clerk's office, but it's a lot of other boards and commissions rely on the clerk's office for posting and everything as well, so whether it's agendas or minutes or just to help get information out, so.
everybody okay with it?
Yeah,
So when we,
I think I had one question, just kind of, and I don't know if there had been any follow-up as far as kind of the standards across the municipalities from like an education and experience perspective.
I don't know that they have sent that out to their clerk society or their clerk association, but we'll follow up on that.
Okay. Thank you. I would
We'll
then,
make sure that it aligns,
Yeah.
obviously.
so are you looking for, do you want a motion to approve just with the addition of the website under public service and communication,
Yes.
as presented,
And to confirm that the education standards align with
best practice of,
best practice.
that's my motion.
That's your motion. All right, thank you.
I mean, do you want a motion? Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I'm just reading it again to make sure. Heather, we left out hours per week. I think we should fill
we
that in
haven't-
at the 40.
We have not been using the hours per
Oh,
week in the job descriptions only because we want to preserve that flexibility
Okay.
With budget
Okay,
scenarios. So we will
okay.
Keep it-
TBD.
TBD.
All right, that's totally fine.
Question? Heather, union grade to be determined?
Yeah.
What are we looking at there?
That's standard language. It's a non-union position, so we would remove union grade and just write I would take out the word union and just say grade.
And that would apply to their skill level as to where a pay is?
No, last November, your board approved a wage and comp schedule
Yeah,
that placed each non-union employee in a grade. I believe we looked at it today, she's a grade 8, that position is a grade 8.
okay.
I think the,
Is that a grade 8 regardless of skill level?
It's a grade 8 position because that's the job criteria,
Okay,
so you would hire to meet that criteria.
okay.
The steps would be something that we would look at, cause it's there's a grade which the position falls in line with, and then the skill level comes in where we place them as a step on that grade. So somebody that's new, that has less experience, they would be at a step, at the starting step. And if we were fortunate enough to have somebody that was coming in with 10 years of town clerk experience, we may look to start them a little higher on that step scale.
All right,
If I
thank you.
If I may, I just quickly looked at the MMA job postings. There's 3 postings currently for town clerk that I searched quickly. One says bachelor's desired. The other says bachelor's is required, and the other actually is for a clerk and accountant that is requiring a master's, and all are that with experience.
what size community?
One is Norwood, one is Northbridge, and one is Saugus.
Bigger than us, but Northbridge is about Holden size, I guess.
Okay.
Is there a preference that the bachelor's be desired or required?
From my perspective, where we are looking at a very skilled position here, I would almost personally feel a bachelor should be required. But with that being said, you could have 10 years of experience
Exactly.
and no experience but have a bachelor's degree.
Yep.
So, I'm kind of, but I think the higher education level, I'd say preferred would be the first choice, not or preferred.
We could strengthen it to highly preferred.
I would almost say, so one of them says bachelor's degree desirable. I would almost say bachelor's degree preferred, and then continue on and almost take out the other pieces. Oftentimes, that's how, and I don't know specifically for municipal, but oftentimes it says the minimum that is preferred.
Yeah.
And then it's up to the applicant whether to
Right.
apply or not.
So are you
Um,
saying take out the associate and just let that go?
I have too many things open. Give me one second.
So right now we've got high school required, associate or bachelor preferred. And I think we should either probably do associate required, bachelor preferred, or
I would say bachelor preferred and just leave it at
and leave the
that.
high school one, take out associate.
And the other ones do say and experience in,
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's certifications and everything else there, so
Yeah.
I guess that would be up to looking at the individual who comes in and saying, yes, you've got experience, you've got credentials in that, but you don't have a bachelor's degree. Because I'm thinking, if people are in this for 15 years or 10 years and want to switch, do they indeed have a bachelor's degree?
Yeah.
Would they have worked on it? I don't
I
know.
agree.
See, that's
agree.
where the experience level comes in for me.
I'm torn. I think the job has changed a lot over the years too.
Yeah,
And so, I don't know, does at least learning to learn, right, in a college situation, give you the ability to learn in this job, which is constantly changing as well, right? The Secretary of State's always throwing new things out. Our town's gonna end up growing, they'll have to learn new ways of doing things, so I'm not sure.
So if I may, one says bachelor's degree desirable, previous experience as as an assistant town clerk, 3 to 5 years experience in an office setting to acquire familiarity with standard office procedures and records management. That's one. Another one that's both it looks like it's posted as a clerk and accountant, requires master's degree in business administration, public administration, or related field, 10 years of progressively responsible related public finance experience, including supervisory experience or any equivalent combination of education experience.
Saugus?
No, that's Norwood.
Oh, wow.
The first one was Northbridge. This one is Saugus, bachelor's degree in business or public administration or liberal arts, previous experience as an assistant town clerk, 3 to 5 years experience in an office setting or acquired familiarity with standard office procedures and records management. So I almost would say bachelor's degree in whatever preferred,
Mhm.
previous experience as an assistant town clerk, 3 to 5 years
Right.
those lines seem to be consistent.
Okay. Alright, so that means in ours, we were taking out associate and bumping our minimum to 3 to 5.
Okay.
yeah. Have we ever advertised for a position of a skill level where we have said high school graduation is enough? I don't think we ever have.
I would imagine that you
Yeah,
have
no,
several
yeah.
positions.
I'm
I'm
talking
sure-
about this type of, maybe not your labor situations where
Oh.
apply for that. I'm talking about
Department head level.
Yeah.
department head level.
I
Yeah,
think we've had phrases in the past that came out of Collins or whoever we had hired where it was like experience commensurate with education.
Yes,
Which we
that's the
could-
common practice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we could add that, and that would actually cover us, right? Experience commensurate with the education that we were looking for. So to your point, if somebody had spent 10 years doing spreadsheets or whatever, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
So
so
sorry, I'm gonna take my motion back
you're
and
changing your motion.
changing it to
We didn't even have a
just-
second, so go ahead.
Cause I think the hope is to approve this and get it posted, right? And
Yes,
so
please.
if the board is comfortable, I would make the motion to approve as presented with the edits surrounding the education and experience comments that we had. And public service and communication, adding at minimum the website piece. The education would be focused on bachelor's preferred language.
And then experience
Commensurate.
with education.
And probably bumping the minimum from a straight 3 to 3 to 5. Just
Okay,
that's my motion.
that's your motion.
Sorry.
Thank you.
For the roundabout.
No, I think we'll get there.
good.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
I'd much rather have you all spell it out in the meeting. It makes it so much easier for me to go in and make those edits. So
Yeah.
I know it sometimes feels like you're going around and around, but it's actually very helpful. So don't,
Thank you.
All in favor?
Matt's and I.
Wait a minute.
Second I.
Deb, aye, great, so I think this can get posted this week?
Yeah.
And then Heather, will you take on organizing the first meeting? Yes, great. Great, moving on. Let's see, we have where'd we go? Okay, so as we heard from Heather, I think you sent us that message earlier, last week. We had a floodplain bylaw amendment that passed at town meeting. It was all based on recommendations from DCR, and it turns out the AG's office said, no, it needs to be a zoning bylaw. So we need to try again. We'll come up into the fall, hopefully, and get this done. That means the planning board will have to get involved a little bit more heavily than they had before. And we will go through the zoning bylaw process.
So there'll be a motion that we'll need tonight for you to instruct me to send the bylaw and the bylaw request to the planning board because they are on a clock
Yes.
in order to meet that November deadline. So if
Okay.
you want, if this is the route that is preferred, I think it is a necessary route in order, DCR and the floodplain insurance have assured us that nobody will lose their insurance and everybody remains eligible, the community stays in good standing so long as we show a good faith effort. I did reach out to DCR, they are aghast that this would be the AGO's opinion, but they didn't really offer. And I don't wanna get caught in the middle, and I don't want our residents to get caught in the middle.
So
No, we just have to try again.
if I may, I'm frustrated that it has gone this route from that's what the feedback was. I am fully on board with it needs to happen how it needs to happen to get it through for our residents. Can it just be please communicated clearly to planning board the importance of this, because a big reason that conservation had taken it on was because planning board was not willing to work with it, so it had become stagnant. So just to ensure that the work that planning board has to do, whether they agree with it or not, is happening.
So at least in this case, we would hope that the bylaw language is basically done. Hopefully the
Right.
planning board can take September to get all their ducks in a row and have the meetings that they need to have and the hearings.
Right, cause it's
We-
public hearings.
Yep, we can then use October as information session in advance of the fall town meeting in November. So I think we have enough time for this,
And I don't think,
considering we have the language already.
and I don't think the vote was contentious at the annual town meeting that it wouldn't have passed the
Right.
2/3 requirement
Right.
anyway, so it just needs to follow the zoning bylaw process.
Yep.
So I would move to transmit the floodplain bylaw and communication to planning board so that they can begin that for zoning bylaw request for the fall
Public hearing.
for the fall special.
May I make a friendly amendment
Yeah.
that we add a suggested timeline for them and the AG's communication?
Absolutely.
Yep, I take that friendly amendment.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second,
Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Matt's and I.
I'm gonna,
second I.
And Dib, aye. Moving on to new business, we thank the residents of Brendel for bringing in their concerns. We're gonna see what we can do with that. 8.2, our next round of our one-day liquor licenses for the Rutland Sportsman's Club. The next event dates August 21 and 28. I think, are these the last two?
Nope, you have
Yeah.
one more.
No, that's it.
Oh. I have one on the agenda for the 31st. Don't you, there's one in September.
Okay, so maybe they've added shows. Anyway, this is the next two for now. Could I get a motion for the license applications?
So moved.
Thank you.
second,
And any discussion? This is same as before for our Friday night concerts. No,
Matt's and I.
thank you.
Lyman, I.
Second I.
And Dib, aye. Great. We have a 61A in front of us for 199 Glenwood Road. At this point, if you look in your packet, every board, committee, commission has submitted their response. And all have declined or have recommended against the town taking action. So that's the Board of Assessors, Planning, Conservation, is that it? Yep. So we technically still have time within our 120 days. If you wanted to take a little more time to look at all of this, we do still have time to refuse and vote, or if you felt ready tonight, we can take a motion this evening.
So just for public, it's a 2.37 acre parcel. It's not a massive
No.
parcel or anything.
It's
And
It looks like some road frontage, I think.
so that's, I think a lot of the general recommendations against taking it was that it's a small parcel, not contiguous to any other parcels or anything. So while everybody was in favor of preserving land this parcel is.
I think that sums it up. I went back and listened to all of the meetings to hear the discussion, to see if, if the vote in fact reflected the discussion, and that's exactly it. A 2.5 acre lot for $80,000 may not be the best use of those $80,000 from the town.
And just for the record, for anybody who's watching, this property is owned by Leroy Clark. The sale is to J&K Ventures LLC for the sum of $80,000. And the discussion by the board tonight is because it's in 61A, the town always has the right of first purchase, or they can choose to decline that right and move on. So yeah, I mean, it's, it's a lot of paperwork in that packet. If you wanted to take the time to go and drive out there, we could push this one more meeting. Again, we do still have time on our clock, but it's entirely up to you.
And I guess if you do wanna table it, if there's any additional information that I can provide.
So I will say the only issue we have right now is the paperwork that was provided to us, which was the purchase agreement. The dates are now wrong. So the dates in the purchase agreement say 6/25/26 and deed on or before 7/31/26, which was not within the 120 days. So I'm wondering if we did push this off 2 more weeks, can they provide us an updated purchase and sale?
Okay. I did speak with the property owner to let him know that the agreement that he entered into was not in keeping with the MGL allowance for the board, so he was aware that he wouldn't meet that timeline.
Yeah, actually now that I think about it, I think we do need that updated purchase and sale, cause this one's not.
To show that that they're still willing to purchase. I mean, that's the whole point of the 61A conversation is.
Right.
I don't think that we need to send back to the boards and committees, cause that wouldn't be a concern
Right.
that's not gonna change their opinions,
Right.
but just to cover all of our bases to ensure that it's.
Makes perfect sense.
Okay.
I'll ask him to revise that purchase and sale.
Alright, is everybody all right with moving that to 31st?
Yeah, with the updated purchase and sale.
Okay, great.
Question.
Yeah.
Could we do it provisionally? We could say, yes, we approve it, provided he gets this in by a certain date, by the end of the week or whatever, I don't know, I'm just saying, cause to the 31st, then we get the paperwork, then we vote, and I'm trying to think that, how do we help him process this in a more quick way, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, I it's really just a comfort level with whether you want the documents in front of you to be correct. I guess, the purchase and sales fall apart a lot. I'm not saying this one would, but sometimes they do.
I think mine,
yeah,
mine only because of the 61A and the historical challenges town has had with the 61As. I'd rather follow the process. And that, I think there had been some back and forth as far as the documentation wasn't submitted appropriately and originally and everything. So I really, from a comfort level, we've done this with other 61A properties as well, just asked for updated paperwork to ensure that we were following the 61A
Okay.
process.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it does put us on firmer footing when it comes to larger projects, I would
Right.
say. This one, happens to be not so contentious. And just as a general rule, again, for anybody watching, just highly recommend using a lawyer for these. These are a lot, and they need to be right for not just Rutland, but anywhere where there's 61A. It's really helpful to have somebody there who's got some experience with it to get your paperwork in right and on time.
Okay,
Alright, so we okay with the 31st? Alright, we're gonna push that right to the next agenda. Hopefully everything will be in order, it'll be quick. We have a scheduling document for the November 19th town meeting that Heather put together. I don't know if anybody has any questions about it right now. As you can see, she's suggesting we call it tonight, excuse me, at the next meeting, and open the warrant. Because it is that time. There's no action on this tonight unless you had dramatic changes to make to the schedule.
I just was looking to see the time, to ensure that we were allowing sufficient time for legal review of.
Well, I think that's the advantage of opening it. I mean, there's really no harm in opening it.
Right,
And the longer that it's open, the more time we have to receive those articles, get them to town council, get them through review.
I agree.
So you have on here, Heather, closing it on the 18th, and then we don't vote until the 28th, which gives residents looking to do petitioned articles about 2.5 weeks. Is everybody good with that? Could technically go a little longer, but.
And if you feel that's too long, we were trying to hit the select board meeting dates.
Okay.
would that be, would the reviews and makes recommendations be in a joint meeting with FinCom, or would FinCom be doing it on their own? Do you envision?
I would envision you ideally doing them in your joint meetings.
This hasn't gone to them yet, though.
And
That's-
really, the schedule itself, I think that can stay a little bit flexible. I just wanted to get the
Open and close?
open and close
Sure.
and the date of the town meeting established. If there are days that have to flex in the middle, I think that's perfectly reasonable. This is not a tablet.
And I think our current bylaws call the fall special to be the Thursday before Thanksgiving, so that date is set. Can we just confirm space
Actually, the
location?
bylaw says the third Thursday or a date to be set by the select board.
Okay.
So there is flexibility, however, given given the desire to have charter,
Mhm.
Maybe be available, I think erring on the side of
Later.
later is better.
Give us all the time we need.
Yeah.
That, I mean, that's fine, I just wanted to, and just to confirm that we have space that Glenwood ideally would be available, and if not, then Naquag. Cause I know the November tends to get crazy because of gymnasium space.
We'll make sure that we reach out to them as soon as possible.
Otherwise, I'm,
Thank you for that reminder.
And I think actually this is such a great schedule. Hopefully we can add FinCom. They can give us some dates. We'll put it in. Planning board, the public hearings, we can put those in, info sessions, and make it complete.
I think it's just important that we get these dates on our calendars so that we're hitting all the benchmarks.
Yep, time to start talking about the fall.
Similar to the next document, which is maybe even more important.
All right, so that schedule will come up again next meeting when we will open the warrant for the fall town meeting. And I'm gonna move on to 8.5, which is that budget timeline document for FY 2028. And again, nothing to vote on here. This was just Heather's first pass at a timeline. Pretty similar to what we've done in the past, but
yeah, I mean, obviously, it's going to be another challenging budget year, so,
Yep.
I think getting information out as soon, to the department heads and start working with them is
yeah.
important.
Heather, I think the only thing to add to this document, the budget development timeline, are the deadlines for getting items onto the ballot. If we have to
Okay.
if we have to do that, those are the only dates I can think off the top of my head.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's usually March sometime, but end of March, beginning of
Yeah.
April, depending on the,
Yeah.
but.
All right, so those were two FYI items. Did anybody have any questions or comments right now about them? Okay, we're gonna go on to 8.6, and we're kind of jumping into TA updates, but this is one thing that she needs action from us. So Heather has a planned upcoming vacation absence, and she would like to do an interim TA because she'll be not as local this time when she's away. Is that correct?
Not as local
Not as local.
and on a different
Time
time schedule.
schedule, time, whatever it is. Alright, so,
So, I think I will be out of pocket long enough that it warrants the appointment of an interim town administrator. We have several RFQs out, including the BDA for Glenwood. We have the water meter replacement project. So there's enough that I wanna keep projects moving and have somebody available and authorized to sign off on contracts. Obviously, there are two individuals that you've worked with in the past. You've alternated between your fire chief and your police chief. I don't know that that's a formal policy that you move between the two, but I guess I just offer that I'm comfortable with both Seth and Nick. Seth did have the appointment last, so if you did wanna alternate, Nick is, they were both available and both willing to do it. So I guess at the discretion of the board. I'm comfortable with either.
I think we've also done DPW, perhaps,
I think
way back?
way back, and we've done treasure collector.
Treasure collector, yeah, so we could do a rotation, and so, yeah, I mean, I guess it's sort of
At the
Nick's
board's
turn.
pleasure.
I think it's Nick's turn.
I do have a question. Do you envision with all the contracts and everything, RFQs, RFPs, whatever that are out, needing, I don't know that anybody is a purchaser, has a purchasing certification?
So
So,
I think that where that CPO designation is most critical is up front, putting the documents out to bid.
Okay.
So all of those documents and bids are scheduled, I've sort of front loaded the CPO designation.
okay,
They would receive the bids back. We'll certainly provide a checklist to make sure that the documents that are required to be in that bid packet are there. Both, again, I can't speak necessarily for Chris, but certainly Nick, George, Nick Monaco, and Seth Knight would all have that experience to be able to clock those in and make those awards. And certainly I would be available, if they wanted to have a consult, we could certainly schedule that.
This is totally splitting hairs, is it acting or interim? I don't
It-
care I don't
yeah.
care that much, I always thought acting was short term and interim.
I think acting
Okay.
would be, you're right,
Okay.
probably acting.
And I don't know what the board has been doing, have we been doing stipends for the acting interim? I know there's been like sort of gaps and things, and I'm not sure that there's money anywhere in the budget for it, if we were gonna, but.
I don't believe to cover vacations or anything that it has been stipended. It was
That's my understanding.
only,
I think you had a stipend when the fire chief was your
Interim.
interim over a
Yes.
longer period of
Okay.
time.
Okay,
But as an acting, no, I don't think you've.
okay,
that's my recollection, and we stipended when the police chief was our long-term interim
Okay.
TA, we stipended him also, but not for any sort of vacation coverage.
Alright. fair enough, alright, well, that solves the acting thing, so. Can we get a motion for, is it Nick, is it police chief's turn?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I would make a motion to allow Heather to appoint Police Chief Nick Monaco as the acting town administrator for the town administrator's vacation in September.
Second.
Thank you, can you plug in the dates for me?
September. It's awful saying it out loud, the anxiety. It'll be September 7th through September 23rd.
Very exciting, okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Mattson, aye.
Wait a minute.
Second, I.
And Dib, aye, great, we want you to have a great time. I mean, we know we're still gonna
And-
see you, but
And yes, thank you. It'll be fine. It's all gonna be
It's going to be
fine.
fine.
It's all gonna be fine.
absolutely. 8.7, we had a stormwater utility abatement request, and it is coming in from one of the condos down on Maple Avenue. The document that you have, is the document that came in. We do have a verbal, comment from DPW, which is that they do not recommend, approving this because our condos, at Maple Avenue have all been assessed this fee from the beginning of the stormwater bylaw. So there's absolutely no change here, nothing different is happening. The person referenced permeable surface, but in fact, the layout and the height of that particular property, it's pretty much fair at that $100. So it's nothing different. We haven't been doing anything different. Everybody else is getting charged the same.
And I think we had one come in from a different condo a couple years ago,
Okay.
and we did not approve that either for similar
right.
reasons,
Okay.
that it was, there's still parking and surface area that is imperviable space.
Okay. So, I believe during this, we are acting, just for the sake of reference and for the record, as the Board of Water Commissioners, so just as an FYI to everybody there. And could I get a motion, that the abatement is denied by decision?
So moved.
Second,
And any more discussion? All in favor?
That's a night.
Whitman, aye.
second I.
And Dib, aye. Thank you very much. Heather,
Hi.
your turn.
Hi.
Staffing updates. The staffing updates that I was gonna give you this evening is based on some correspondence that has come in over the afternoon, are not confirmed. So I will hold off on that and revisit this on the 31st. The library carpet replacement project, that's the reason the library has been closed this week, as they continue to work on that replacement project. I understand that it's likely the closure will be extended, at least for a few more days, this week as well. Just so they're able to resolve that, and we'll be posting something on the website. Their social media is staying current. But that is a project that was authorized at your town meeting, long overdue. I also wanna just acknowledge all of the volunteers. There was an army of volunteers that came in several Fridays ago and moved every last book off the bookshelves, from the upstairs. And it just was a massive effort, and it really was one of those, there's no way we could have done that without the volunteers. So thank you to everybody that came in and showed up for that. A reminder for the Rutland Community Electricity Information Session, that meeting is August 19th at 6 p.m. here in the library. It'll be held in the Cochran's Room, which is the larger meeting space. It will be available virtually on Zoom, and will also be recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel after. So if somebody is not available to either attend in person or virtual, they can watch the recording. We've had a number of people reach out with questions and concerns. We're tackling the easy questions internally, but certainly I am not a municipal aggregation expert, and deferring them to the experts. The documents have all gone out in the mail. Everybody should be receiving them. If people have questions, they can certainly reach out to me directly. But the website has a lot of information on it as well, and the links in the FAQ document will bring them directly to the Good Energy site, where they can get additional information. So I guess my request is that people hold off till the 19th, watch the meeting, participate in the meeting, watch the recording, and then if they still have questions, they could reach out to the Good Energy folks. And then lastly, I attended a watershed pilot meeting today in West Boylston. West Boylston has taken the initiative to bring all of the town administrators together and start a conversation about how we can best represent our communities. And one of the suggestions that was brought up is Sterling and West Boylston have both created a watershed, an ad hoc watershed committee that is made up of representatives from their select board, finance committee, and assessors. And that group is working with the town administrator to make sure that the town administrator is authorized in speaking on behalf of the leadership. And there's gonna be a charter that is created that represents all of the communities that were present. It's Berlin, Boylston, Clinton, Sterling, West Boylston, Rutland, Princeton. Am I missing anybody? I don't think I'm missing anybody. To be able to advocate from with the same voice. There's going to be a listening session in Sterling in September. And so since I will not be here for that, I think it is important that we do have this group in place that can attend and represent. So I think with your authorization, I will come back on the 31st with this as something as for an action item for you all to vote on. And we'll have maybe the finance committee and the assessors put it on their next agendas as well.
So the pushback that you may end up receiving from FinCom historically has been FinCom's current bylaw precludes them from serving on any other board or committee, even as an ad hoc.
Okay.
Because I don't know how strict they're going to take that now, and so that's just be prepared for that. But I absolutely agree that when it's ad hoc committees like this that is specifically calling for a designee from one of these, from FinCom especially, that it would have been nice and important to have that representation. We had pushback from charter committee as well, not having FinCom representation because they're the way they read their bylaw, they can't.
Okay, good to know.
So, but again, I think there's a lot of value to it, so.
Well, they could at a minimum, add the item to an agenda and come up with their questions and concerns. And that information could be provided to
The other representation.
the other representation. So, I thought it was a nice gesture to begin that conversation and include Rutland and all the other, Holden was the last community, so. And this would be specific to the watershed conversation as opposed to pilots in general. And Ann Goby attended the meeting and took a lot of notes and she went home with an earful.
And this is outside, obviously it's outside of the Ware River Watershed Advisory Committee group, which is predominantly further west from us, Hubbardston,
The Quabbin,
yeah,
Well, we're actually, we talked about modeling it on Joe Comerford's Quabbin efforts.
right. But the Ware River
Water
Advisory.
trust, they actually have a trust, right?
No, I don't know, they have an advisory committee and it's Rutland, Hubbardston, Oakham, Barry. I'm not sure if there's any others. But those communities are not included in this, so I just wanted to put it out there.
Thank you. I learn something new every single time that one of these things come up. It's so multi-layered, and I think that's really, emblematic of why the problem isn't solved, right? Because it affects so many communities, but the advocacy is so convoluted, and
Well, and that's why I was almost wondering if having this group combine or reach out to Ware Rivershed Water Advisory Committee to see if they had interest in participating also is
Mhm.
additional advocacy because it's Ware River watershed. I assume a lot of this is Wachusett watershed communities, so. Okay.
That's amazing, that's great. Power in numbers.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else?
That's all I have tonight.
That's it. What? All right. There was a little bit of correspondence. We can waive reading unless somebody has a question. If not, I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Wait, I
Second, I.
that's an aye.
And do I. Thank you very much, everybody.